What if I told you this was a 2-yard gain? And what if I told you that 99% of running backs in NFL history do not make the next 67 yards? And finally, what if I told you to quit looking for the next Jordan Howard? There's not one. Today I wanted to take a look at expected hit percentage of running backs based on the round drafted. Why don't we get right into it at the very top, the first round. In the past 10 seasons, 20 running backs have been selected in round 1 of the NFL draft. Now obviously not all have panned out, but would it come as a shock to you to learn that only one player shown, David Wilson, did not have at least one RB3 season or better in half PPR? Or how about this one? If you draft a running back from the first round, you have a 75% chance of getting at least one fantasy RB1 season. The 15 remaining have all done it. Yep, even Trent Richardson. The second round remains strong with top-end talent, but the negative trend has already shown itself. 46% of the players shown have never had an RB3 season or better. And while only 6 have had RB1 seasons, isn't an amazing group of 6, as those 6 players have produced 20 RB1 seasons combined. Let's call the third round the one-hit wonder zone. We can get rid of the 9 players here, as they never reached RB3 status. And while 5 may have had RB1 seasons, this group is really dominated by 3 individuals: DeMarco Murray, Jamaal Charles, and David Johnson. I hope you like gambling, because the fourth round is where we start our lottery presentation. This is always about the spot where the fantasy community jumps on board a couple people and hypes them up to no end, where come draft season, they're totally overdrafted in the hopes that they're going to take over a job. Now the reality is, only these 12 players had RB3 seasons or better. Now look at the screen. There's a lot of really bad players still shown. And the only fantasy contributors that were league winner type players are Lamar Miller and Devontae Freeman. Can you guess the other running back on this list that deserves to be mentioned with those two as RB1s? Did you guess Michael Bush? I didn't. The fifth round is where we see the poster boy of this presentation, Jordan Howard. Howard, along with Jay Ajayi, make up the only 2 players in the past decade to have RB1 seasons from the 5th round. However, what is really concerning is that when you take away the garbage and only look at the 9 players with some sort of fantasy value, you'll find only one with multiple RB3 seasons or better: the great Tim Hightower. The 6th round, where quantity does not mean quality. 29 running backs have been drafted in this round over the past decade. Only these 6 have posted RB3 or better seasons. Alfred Morris is joined by Latavius Murray as the only players with an RB1 season. By now, it should not come as a shock when I tell you trying to win in the 7th round is a recipe for insanity. Only 4 players have posted fantasy-relevant seasons. One glimmer of hope is that Justin Forsett, Rashad Jennings, and Ahmad Bradshaw have been at least serviceable options for teams over multiple seasons. Let's talk about this chart for a second. The black shows how many players were selected in the given round from 2007 through 2016. The blue shows how many of those players had at least one season of RB3 production or better and overall half point per reception scoring. And finally, the gray bar shows the player count for RB1 production. I did not create this video to persuade you against taking late round running backs. The key takeaway is actually to have a realistic expectation. Drafting running backs from the first round of the NFL draft is an extremely safe bet. The past decade shows you have a 95% chance of at least having a fantasy relevant player and a 75% chance of landing a league winning type player for at least one season. Once you get past round 3, I would highly advise you to temper expectations. The 4 rounds combine for only an 8% chance of hitting at least one RB1 season. And finally, for those still wanting to chase the ghost of Jordan Howard, I'll leave you with this. Last year was the 97th season of the NFL. Name the running backs who have had 1,300 yards rushing and 250 yards receiving in their rookie season. Well, the answer is the one that you're watching right now.